What's good, my boy? I'm back from the couple weeks of time off helping my grandparents move. And to get back in the groove of things, I want to make a video highlighting how to tackle this giant problem of having a goal, having something you want to achieve, and navigating through this cesspool of world of distractions where it's hard to label them good, bad. Uh, Three topics that I mainly want to cover in this video. The first is this concept of mental bandwidth that I'm sure a majority of people have been introduced to. Quick and short is you think of your brain, the attention and focus that you can put onto certain things throughout the day. Think of it as like a battery on your iPhone or whatever fucking phone you got. And whenever you wake up from your slumber, from sleeping, you have so much percentage. Okay? Get bad sleep, eat like shit. That percentage, it doesn't charge all the way. Get good sleep, do the right things. Youthful, young, body recovers good. Full battery. Very, very simple. Just think of it as a battery. And throughout the day, just like your fucking phone, the battery will go down. And depending on how much load you put on it, it will go down faster. But to not make it too complicated, we'll just simplify it in caveman terms. Battery in brain, the more you use it, it goes down. You sleep in the night and it replenishes it. Every single day you have a new one. And we have so many distractions nowadays where there's this concept of death by 1,000 cuts by the Sam Evans dude that I saw a couple weeks ago, where he illustrated the point that it's not just giant things you choose to do in the day that take up a large chunk of time that drain this battery, but it's the smallest fucking things that you could think of. Like, say you're super focused, you're getting work done on something that you wanted to do, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I gotta go do this. I gotta go make me some lunch. I gotta go, I don't have anything, so I gotta leave and go get lunch. Just, I'm using this as a quick analogy, but any fucking thing at all. I got to go take a shit. I take my phone with me to take a shit, and I'm scrolling on Instagram. I'm back in 5 minutes, but that battery has just gone down even in that 5 minutes of looking at your phone and taking a shit. It's these little bitty distractions of choices we make throughout the day that drain this battery. And we have to be constantly aware of this. And to go on to my second point, it's even harder to navigate if you are young and naive. I'm young, and with youth comes naivety and comes less wisdom and less stability in your mind compared to someone older, someone with more experience, and shit like that. I like to believe, for the most part, for how new the internet and all this TikTok shit is, we're at a kind of level playing field with younger people and older people with trying to navigate this. But older people are more grounded in their beliefs and grounded in certain things, where a young person can get pulled in different directions because their beliefs, their system of things that they find interesting are still blossoming and developing, that it's easier for them to get pulled in a complete fucking rabbit hole that drains this bandwidth. So, to illustrate this myself, I'll give some examples. I do four main things, okay? There's four main things that I derive, or I'll do five main things that I fill the time of my day with, that I derive a lot of pleasure from, and it is my work per se. It's what I pursue, it's my passion, all tied into one. The first is I like to build things, be it out of metal, wood, whatever fucking medium. I have a wood shop, as well as I'm a general contractor, but I'm about to kind of drop off of the whole contracting and building houses front and just move or just kind of narrow it all the way down into working in my shop. Second is I like to make music. I've built a full studio with like fucking all these different instruments and different things. Third, I like to do paintings and make art on paper, canvas, that type of thing. Not really any direct vision or medium or style, just kind of random. And the fourth is I like to make videos. And all four of these things I'm kind of experimenting with. I haven't fully fleshed out them yet. It's kind of like a day-to-day thing where I discover new things in each one that I like and I nestle myself into them. And the fifth one is I have family and friends that I also like to balance while doing all these different things. And I feel like my situation is very similar to other people where you got all these interests. You also got family and friends you want to balance between them. And then you have this other thing. See, these take up this hand. Then you have this other thing of fucking distractions. Now, I listed a lot of shit. And I will have to give up certain ones if I dabble in this realm of distractions. Because, see, my mental bandwidth, it will work perfect if I balance all 5 of these things perfectly. It works like butter. It's very, very, not easy, but it works like clockwork. But as soon as, say, I got 5 spaces of mental bandwidth, and there's 5 spaces of distractions that will fight these, I have to give up one of these, because if I try to do one of these and add 6, see how that doesn't even out? We want just 5. We want these things. I'm using this as an example for your mental bandwidth. Say you got 5 slots. If you try to give it in with one more, you no longer have 5. And it starts to lessen the impact and the effectiveness of these 5. I believe in being multifaceted, and I believe that the whole saying, jack of all trades, master of none, is bullshit. We've been proven this through numerous figures, Da Vinci, fucking Joe Rogan, all these people that we like and respect have multiple interests, multiple things, and you don't need to just do one. But if you want to introduce a variety of different things, you have to be constantly fucking aware of your mental bandwidth. Now this brings us to our third topic. So we've gone mental bandwidth, how it's harder for a young and naive person. And the third one is work, action, and awareness. And how these are some of the strongest attributes that you need to develop. First and foremost, work and action. These are the most important fucking thing. Now, I didn't give a label to all these distractions. I didn't say fucking TikTok. I mentioned those before, but I just kind of left these gray. Because these can be any fucking thing. These can be going and leaving your work to get food. These can be a fucking biohacking routine or some fucking bullshit habit that someone sells you on that's going to be a magic potion to success. Any fucking thing, even if you, like I said, you're young and naive, so people can sway you in different directions. Watching Joe Rogan talk about fucking conspiracies. Anything that feels like you're doing something that feels productive, it's going to take away from your main interest, your main work, your main action. You have a goal. Let's just do a very basic goal as an example. You want to become a fucking famous musician. You want to become successful in this realm. Anything you do that takes away from your time and focus and energy spent on practicing your craft, making things that advertise you as a musician, all these things, anything that takes away from that slows down the possibility of you achieving that goal. It gets in the way. And that's what we're fighting against. And that's where the awareness comes in. The awareness comes in of constantly evaluating and thinking to yourself, judging things. Is this a wise use of my time? is this going to impact negatively my pursuits? Is this going to positively impact it? If I not all action, not everything you do needs to be action. There can be room for education. There can be room for inspiring entertainment. All of these things, this is what makes it so complicated. Let's say you want, going back on the musician thing, say you want to be fucking John Mayer guitar player guy, okay? You sitting there and playing guitar for 14 hours a day is not going to solidify your role and help you achieve success. You need balance. You need to take some of those hours from playing away and put them into hearing new things that you can add into your guitar playing to make you unique and stand out. You need to add in hearing people talk about different methods and different ways of learning. This goes for every fucking thing you want. If you want to be a philosopher, you can't just spend time reading books. You can't just spend time writing in your fucking journal. You have to go out and experience life as you know it in different ways to come up with your own philosophies through your own experience. But you have to be able to navigate negative and positive gain. You have to be able to truly evaluate and be like, all right, I choose to look at certain things on my phone. I choose to watch a YouTube video. I choose to look at something on Instagram. You have to be able to be like, all right, am I doing this because it makes me, I feel like something's happening in my brain. I feel like I'm gaining something from this. But is it just entertainment and fucking dopamine from watching a short video? Or did I actually like unlock a new thing in my brain of a new perspective, a new way to see something? Did I learn something from it? I watched for like 2 years after I graduated high school. I was one of the people who just watched self-improvement videos, and I didn't really do anything productive. I worked a little popcorn job at fucking random places as a roofer, as a day laborer, as fast food, all these different things. And then I would go home or in my earbud while doing it, I would listen to like these fucking self-improvement things, thinking I'm doing something. You think you're doing something productive, but it's just bullshit. You're not actually creating any substance. Videos. I started making videos, and in doing so, I thought I was doing something productive, and I did learn. I learned how to become comfortable behind a camera. I learned how to edit certain things. I learned little tricks and shit like that. I learned. But then I hit a gray line where I was just being repetitive and nothing was really different. And I had to use my awareness to realize, all right, I'm just wasting my bandwidth. I feel like I'm being productive. I'm creating something, but at this point in time, this is not what I truly want to be creating. I'm just wasting my bandwidth that I could use somewhere else. Another way, touching more on this, thinking you're doing something productive. We live in this era where everyone wants to make fucking content of some kind. Maybe you're doing a fit check. Maybe you're showing off something. Maybe it doesn't really matter. Anything with a fucking camera that you're posting online. You don't have to do that. So many people make it seem like, alright, if you're not doing this, you're missing out. But there's so many fucking ways to become successful, happy, all the things that people want in life without doing these things. And in doing so, you could actually be fucking distracting yourself and wasting the mental bandwidth that you could put towards the thing you might be documenting or wanting to do. For me, I realized this. I saw this kid, Sam Solik, make these like personal gym videos. And I tried, while working a full-time job as building houses and shit, I tried to document my interests, my passions, whatever. And I tried to do that while doing all these hobbies that I listed. And it was a waste of bandwidth. It was a complete waste of bandwidth because I had to, on top of focus on my craft and focus on my things I was doing, I had to externally think of ways to entertain a camera or talk to people and shit like that. It's too much. Say you want to start a business, which I've talked shit about in the past, e-commerce and drop shipping and crypto and all this. I've talked shit about it. mainly because it's something that I do not value. But let's just say you do value it. And all these people are like, the only way to do it, free advertising, you got to get free leads through content and all this shit. No, you don't. You can pay for advertisements. You can pay for advertisements and start any fucking company, business, product, service, anything online without ever putting your face behind a camera. You can do that. And maybe through not doing that and paying the ads and being anonymous, if you will have more time and more bandwidth to put towards that business. Using that as an example, you can carry that you can carry that sentiment in every other attribute. And it's one thing that I have to work at as well. Not being too controlled by this pool of content creation, which sometimes can be a hindrance to my actual true passions and true desires in life, like music, like painting, like building, which is why I opt to make these videos. I went through a period of like 2 or 3 months where I just quit. I was making videos for 8 months straight, fucking hours of content a day. And I was like, you know what, let me experiment with not doing this anymore. Not giving up. Let me just see if my mental strength gets better. It kind of leveled out at first, but then I started feeling like I was missing something. I thought I was just like I was being pulled by the content creation fucking pushers. You gotta make content, dude. I thought that I was being controlled by that, so I quit doing it. But then I realized that I was doing it because it's something that I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed talking to a camera, riffing off ideas in my head. I don't enjoy making a script and reading off a script and then editing like a fucking artistic old Sneeko type video. I don't truly enjoy that. I enjoy the editing process, but like the video part, I didn't like that. But the act of getting behind a camera and trying to flesh out an idea in real time, like improvisational jazz, is very interesting and very fun to me. I don't really watch my videos back. I don't even watch them once I make them. I'd fucking go on Photo Booth on my MacBook, hit record, link up my microphone to it, press the fucking finish button, and just drag it straight into YouTube. It's kind of a therapeutic thing. I feel a positive gain from it. Now, whether or not 30 minutes of my time every day truly impacts my other passions, I don't know. Time will tell. But I've used my awareness to see that, all right, I experimented. I did it for a while. I stopped doing it for a while. And survey says I like doing it, so I chose to do it. Same thing with music and shit. I spent 2 weeks helping my grandparents move 6 hours across the state of Texas. And it was like 16-hour days. We had 4 26-foot U-Hauls that we had to pack fucking floor to ceiling with just furniture, heavy-ass shit, safes, all sorts of fucking things they've accumulated over 60 years of their life. And it was a lot. We had a week-long period to do this with me, my pawpaw, who has a fucked up back, and 1 week of 2 other people. But then once we got through the 6-hour trip, it was just me and him moving all this shit, unloading the truck so they didn't get charged an extra $1,000 per truck. And we accomplished the task. But before I embarked on it, I was like, all right, I got to keep up with all my interests. I got to keep up my videos. I got to keep up my music. I got to keep up my drawing and painting and fucking blah, blah, blah. I got to stay consistent. And then I packed some equipment so I could. And then I got over there and I was like, you know what? Let me just have a couple weeks experimentation of not doing it. And it was the first week was a good break. It was like a breath. I could go, I worked really hard physically, but I was able to recharge my mental bandwidth. And then the second week hit, and I started to miss it. And it was a cool experiment, like the videos, where I got to realize, all right, I truly like doing these things. I really know. It's kind of like a little test. A test of awareness to see if what I'm doing is truly something I want to do. And I feel like the young and naive people out there, we get sucked into these certain figures who say if you're not fucking consistent and you miss one goddamn day of doing something, you're going to fail. When, nah, bro, you got to be confident in your own self to experiment with your own shit. Not listen to every fucking single thing a guru tells you and kind of do things your own way. That's why I try my hardest to do things unique to me and not copy too many people. I really enjoy, I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I really enjoy watching videos of people showing off their studios, showing off different musical things, their processes. But through awareness, I've realized this is a thing that drains my mental bandwidth. We play these games where we convince ourselves in our brains I'm doing something productive, and then I realize through the practice of awareness that I'm just fucking procrastinating myself actually producing something. Because at the end of the day, I like this guy, Alex Hormozy. He says this shit, and he can be kind of like a fake guru at times where he just pushes bullshit. But you got to take the good from the bad, take the meat, leave the bones type things with certain things these figures say. He says this thing of America, our country was built on the backs of men who smoked cigarettes, ate bacon for breakfast, blah, blah, blah. You're fucking biohacking, missing your biohacking routine one day is not going to ruin you. And I feel like this sentiment portrays this the most. So often I'll read you this quote. I wrote it down in my notes so I don't misquote this shit. The stress of trying to be perfect is killing you more quickly than your imperfections. So that illustrates it perfectly. Quit trying to do all these little fucking things and do this and be perfect and live up to the image created by all these people. Find a unique way to balance your passions and interests and do it your own fucking way and consistently take action in those things. Limit the distractions. Or, hey, maybe, bro, this is what ties it perfectly. Maybe your fucking passion and interest is going through things these people say and making videos about them. Who fucking knows? Maybe your thing is to watch this content and not regurgitate it, but package it up. I know this one guy on YouTube called Creative Minds, where he takes like all these like artists and musicians and creators, little tidbits from podcasts and videos they've talked about creativity from, and like packages it up and like narrates over in between and shit like that. It's really cool. He's gained over like a couple 100,000 subscribers at this point. So maybe that's your fucking purpose. Maybe you don't know. You have to do this uniquely to you. You have to mindfully be aware that if you're young, there's a possibility that you're naive and that it's going to be hard to navigate because you're not as stable. But your compass will be the acknowledgement that you have a certain amount of bandwidth, and whatever you've chosen to pursue, make sure that you're spending a majority of your bandwidth on that thing if you want to be successful in that domain, and limit the exposure to distractions with that bandwidth, as well as distractions can even come from places that you might seem positive and might feel like you gain from. Constantly be aware. Chase paper, enjoy nature, my boy, and have a good one. I'll be back with some better content later on. This was just something to get me jump started because I've taken a couple weeks off. Have a good one.